we've done let's say, hopefully a successful pitch with an investor. How does the follow-up process work, especially for those who are perhaps thinking about raising investment, but they're not familiar yet with everything that it takes from start to finish?
So it will depend massively on who you're trying to get investment from. So for instance, if you're trying to get investment from a single angel investor, you might get a response literally in the meeting. Yes, I'm interested. No, I'm not. You know where you are. A corporate VC may have to go off and do some kind of decision by committee. So you might not hear back for a week or 2 weeks or a month, because some of them are very slow. And then a traditional VC will be somewhere in the middle. They might, depends how they operate. They might tell you straight away. They might say, oh, we'll come back to you once we've had a chance to discuss it around the table here. But once you get that, and it never hurts if you've walked away from a pitch and not had a decision in the pitch. It never hurts to do a positive follow-up the next morning to say, thanks so much for hearing us. Just a reminder, here's our deck in electronic format if you haven't given it already. Here are the key points. If you've got any questions, please ask. And then, hopefully they come back and say, we love it. We'd like to progress. And then at that point, the first thing that you'll need to sort out is non-disclosure agreements, because past that point, they're going to be wanting to see lots of really private detail about your company. So you must make sure that the NDA is in place and signed. And this is really the point. Well, ideally before this point, you will have got lawyers involved, but if you haven't already, now's the point to make sure that you're doing that, because you will need legal help to get through this process effectively. And it depends how people operate. So some will send the due diligence questions first, and then will send a term sheet once they've kind of had a look at the numbers and made sure they do actually stack up. Some will send a term sheet and then say it's dependent on us doing the due diligence and it all stacking up. So you might get either scenario, but the term sheet is basically the outline agreement of how much money they would give you and how much equity they would expect in return, and any other terms that they want to build into the investment agreement. So that's up for discussion and negotiation and what have you. So sometimes it's helpful if they do it first, because then you can negotiate that in parallel to the due diligence going on, which is a bit of a time saver in the process. And then if they get through due diligence and say all good, then it will go to the lawyers at that point for doing all the kind of formal tying up of proper investment agreements, shareholder agreements, any changes to the articles of association of the company, and then finally you get the money, which is
hopefully everything goes well.
So there's quite a lot of steps, and I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have good legal support through that process, because particularly if you've not done it before, the risk that you don't know what you don't know is huge. So there might be things in a term sheet that you look at and go, oh, looks fine to me, and then your lawyer would go, no, don't sign that at all, that's terrible, that would really impact you down the line.